Picture it. Late 90s, you're 19, you're broke, and you've just blown your last $4 on a large fry and a Coke. And there, peeling off the side of the cup, is a little sticker.
$4, it was definitely the 90s, but there's Park Place. And for one beautiful, hopeful, stupid second, you think, what if? Because somewhere out there is the other half, Boardwalk. Put the two together and you win $1 million.
But that's the dream. You know, the American dream, served ice cold in a cup holder.
And here's a dirty little secret about that dream. Like your high school crush, It was not going to be you. It was never going to be you. This isn't a John Hughes movie.
It was never going to be anyone, for that matter. Because for years, almost every one of those $1 million prizes was already spoken for.
Because there was a man.
There was a man. And for the longest time, the only thing anybody knew about him was a name.
Uncle Jerry.
I'm Catherine.
And I'm Gabriel.
And this is Mugshot Mysteries.
And today, the single biggest scam in the history of Ronald McDonald and Mac Tonight. A $2 game piece. A $24 million heist. So much supersizing, it would make a blue whale blush.
A real mobster who filmed his own fake commercial. A couple of guys that were just fresh out of the cocaine business.
And an FBI sting so goofy it qualified as its own Marx Brother movie.
It's got literally everything. A heist, a children's hospital, the single dumbest cast of co-conspirators like ever assembled. Do you think that maybe they could have been the anti-Avengers?
I like it, babe.
I mean, I'm just saying.
And the strangest part of all, without the documentaries, the social media posts, almost nobody alive would remember a second of it.
One man, one vest, a sheet of stickers he was never supposed to have. So get comfortable.
Sneaky footsteps in the night, clues that vanish out of sight. Grab your hat and magnifying glass. We'll talk this case and have a blast. Mugshot Mysteries, we're on the trail. Twists and turns that never fail. Laughs and chills, it's quite the show. Who did it? Tune in to know.
McDonald's monopoly launched in 1987. You buy food, you get game pieces. It was pretty much that simple.
And the idea is amazing because it hijacks a game everybody already knows. Nobody has to teach you the rules. We've all been on Boardwalk. We've all bankrupted grandma at Christmas and felt nothing.
Some pieces are instant winners. You know, free fries, McFlurry, which was my personal favorite. And, you know, then you get those little dopamine hits that keep you coming back. And some are the collect-to-win ones, you know, the properties.
And that's where the real hook is, the near miss. They give you the cheap common half of a color group for free. The Mediterranean Avenue nobody on earth has ever wanted. Except me, because I love underdogs.
And then you spend a month convinced that the matching piece is sitting in some stranger's glove box next to the expired registration. Or in my case, I was convinced it was in like a trucker's glove box, specifically.
A trucker?
Totally, because they're always going to McDonald's and then driving USA. And now they've screwed my chances of winning because they took it out of my small town in Virginia, you know, to California or some shit.
The trucker union is going to call us, is all I'm saying.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll answer the call.
It's defamation.
No, whatever.
The whole thing runs on almost. You never walk away empty-handed. There's always a free drink, a junk property, something. So you always feel like you're just one piece away.
Yeah, one piece away. Forever. That's the genius of it. As parents have learned, almost is so much more addictive than no.
Very true.
Yes. And McDonald's sold almost by the hundreds of millions.
And it printed money year after year because the pieces were on the large fries and the large drinks. And everybody wants to supersize something.
I mean, they're doing it for Boardwalk. So the house wins before anybody wins anything.
And we can't oversell how big this got. It ran the better part of 20 years. Tens of millions of people every single year. People kept collection sheets on the fridge, hunting one very specific sticker like it was a second job, and everybody's waiting and waiting to hit the big one.
I mean, it was an event. The commercials, the cups, the fry boxes designed around it. And for a few years there, peeling that little sticker back was a national reflex. A tiny ritual millions of people did without even thinking every time they pulled up to a drive-thru to ruin their diet.
Best way to ruin your diet is McDonald's. And here's the thing. The big collect pieces are almost impossibly rare. The free fries, they're everywhere. But the rare half of $1 million pair, a tiny handful printed for the entire country like this was a true Willy Wonka movie with less blueberries and more apple pie.
And sometimes there was effectively one boardwalk somewhere in America floating in a sea of millions of cups. Your real odds are win the lottery, but with more gastrointestinal issues.
The scarcity is exactly what makes the crime possible. When there's one golden ticket in the entire country.
I mean, you don't have to steal much. You just have to be the one man who knows where it is.
But the prizes are real. McDonald's isn't printing monopoly money or stealing from the bank. They're paying actual winners on actual television. So the whole thing really balances on one thing.
Trust. You have to believe those rare pieces are really randomly out there. The entire promotion runs on the public believing the game is fair.
Which is a beautiful but fragile little assumption. And you know exactly what happens to beautiful, fragile little assumptions.
Somebody beats that ass. So let's go to the spring of 2000. Jacksonville, Florida, the FBI field office.
A tip comes in, and it's almost too perfect how absolutely lame it is. Basically a scrap of paper with a wild claim on it. You know the McDonald's monopoly? It's rigged. There's a guy on the inside. They call him Uncle Jerry, and he's been handing the big prizes to his friends for years.
Which, on its face, is a crank call. Get ready for this, guys, because that's the same energy as the moon landing was filmed with a studio audience.
With the laughing and the clapping.
Yes, exactly that. But FYI, fans, all our fans, it wasn't, by the way.
No, not at all. And like that theory, it should have died right there. A tip about a hamburger board game does not get a task force assembled by lunch.
Except it lands in front of a young agent named Doug Matthews, who by his own account was bored out of his ever-loving mind and desperate for something more interesting than files on his desk.
And the most boring name in the history of man.
Okay, you like Dave Matthews. It's hop, skip, and a jump away, sir.
What's your name? Doug Matthews. I'm not saying I like his name. I'm saying I like his music. All right. Everybody's very happy at the concerts. You've seen that.
That's called marijuana.
So this whole empire, $24 million, more than a decade of work, it all survives or dies on one restless agent deciding that the McDonald's thing, well, that it sounds fun.
The most expensive case of boredom in FBI history. And the tip had one detail that made it stick. It named a specific recent winner, said, that one's fake. That guy is one of them.
A name, something you can actually pull a file on. And that's the hinge of the entire case. Doug Matthews decides a McDonald's tip is worth 20 minutes, well, instead of 0.
Uncle Jerry's real name is Jerome Jacobson. And the thing to know about him is that he wasn't some shadowy mob boss putting out hits like he was Bruno Mars or something.
He was the system. Jacobson was the security, the director of security for the company McDonald's hired to run these games, a firm called Simon Marketing.
The pieces themselves were printed somewhere else, a separate, very buttoned-up company. The kind of place trusted to print postage stamps and lottery tickets.
And lottery tickets is the we take this deadly seriously tier of all business models, which makes it so much better that the man at the center used to be a cop. And we know there's never been corruption there, ever.
Never. He'd been a police officer, left the force, and as the story goes, his wife at the time worked in security and auditing, and she helped him get his foot in the door. First, near the printing company, then over to Simon.
So nobody really vetted the future Uncle Jerry. He got referred in by his wife. So good work, Simon Marketing. Simon says you really screwed the pooch.
And his actual job title was Director of Security. He was personally responsible for the high-value pieces, the rare ones, the $1 million ones. His entire reason for being in that building was to keep those pieces honest and pure.
They paid him to be the human vault, and by every account, the man was intense about it. This is a man who had his own staff's shoes searched well before the airlines did, so nobody could smuggle a piece out the door. Little did they know, it's because he was scared someone was going to steal them from him.
The people who transported the pieces reportedly weren't allowed to use the bathroom alone because Jacobson didn't trust a soul unsupervised near that inventory.
Which is obviously not normal.
No.
Searching shoes is not in the security handbook, nor is helping hold someone's Johnson for a Pete.
Wow.
This is a man who knows exactly how easy it is to steal one, because he's already formulating the plan.
He had already done the math. The fox didn't just guard the hen house, he designed it. He installed the locks and then searched everybody else's shoes on the way out. So here's the mechanics, and it's honestly the most boring part of the insane story, which is exactly why it worked. The high-value pieces move through the supply chain under tamper-proof, anti-fraud seals. Once a piece is sealed, you can tell if anybody's opened it.
And there was layers on layers of this security cake. Multiple people, sign-offs, audits, the whole kit and caboodle. On paper, the system was very hard to beat.
On paper? The one thing the whole design never accounted for was that the man running the security might actually be the threat. Every safeguard pointed outward, at the staff, the drivers, the printers. Nobody ever built one pointing at Jacobson. And then, as the story goes, a supplier slips up and sends Jacobson a sheet of those anti-tamper seals.
There's a saying, a lock does no more than keep an honest man honest. And those locks came off.
They mailed him the keys, and now he can do the one thing the system was built to make impossible. He can open a sealed envelope, pull the real winning piece, and then reseal it with a fresh, genuine seal. And it looks completely untouched.
So the tamper-proof system is saying there's no tampering to the one guy who's tampering it. The smoke detector is being installed by the arsonist, for gosh sakes.
And how he actually moved the pieces is actually very low tech. He travels for work, flying between offices. So he tucks the pieces on him, reportedly in his vest, and ducks into an airport bathroom stall. And instead of a last-minute blow party, he does the swap, reseals, and walks out.
This is about as lucrative of a bathroom break you could take, and nobody is searching the director of the security shoes or walking him to the John.
Because he's the one who searches the shoes, and he's the one watching you take a leak, which is disgusting, by the way. And here's the thing. He doesn't do this once. He does it promotion after promotion, which means year after year. Same vests, same routine, same fresh seals, and quite honestly, I'm questioning his desire to want to watch people urinate in the bathroom. Because he decided that.
I mean,
and
maybe,
he knew.
Maybe he had a guy.
Evidence points to him. That's disgusting. I'm looking right at you, bro. You're gross.
The Golden Shower Associate.
Oh, no. Continue on.
This is clockwork. New promotion, new bathroom break at the airport.
And the excuse? Because there's always an excuse or a manifesto. His was a grievance. He claimed the higher-ups would steer the big prizes into certain regions. And he decided that meant the game was already rigged.
So in his own head, he's not breaking the game. He's just getting his. It was already crooked. It was already rigged. You can't cheat a cheating system.
But he hits one wall immediately. The pieces are worthless to him.
He can't win his own game. Picture the director of security at the McDonald's Monopoly Company just strolling up to claim $1 million grand prize on camera for the commercial in front of St. Ronald McDonald.
That's actually redder than the hallway in The Shining. And he can't cash a single piece himself, and he can't let his wife near it, and he can't let his name within a mile of it.
So he's sitting on a mountain of Ronald Wonka golden tickets, all of them worthless, unless he can find somebody else to walk through that front door and pretend to be very lucky.
So now, Jacobson needs a network. People who can realistically walk in, claim a prize, pass a really good ocular pat down, and kick a big bag of money right back to him.
And the second he needs other people, this stops being a clever heist and becomes a people problem, which is always where these things fall apart. The crime was airtight. People, on the other hand, are leakier than an old toilet.
And like anyone who suddenly needs help with something deeply illegal, he starts close. Family, friends, and at one point, his own butcher is in the rotation.
The butcher. I hope he got the best cuts of steaks.
I mean, he better have. But early on, he hands the guy a piece worth $200,000 in exchange for $45,000 in cash. So you front the man $45,000 on faith, and a 6-figure prize comes out on the other end.
And for the really big ones, the $1 million grand prizes, it gets even more elaborate. Because those don't pay out at once. A $1 million McDonald's prize comes in installments like your money's on layaway. You get these over years.
So that deal is built around the payments. The winner funnels a chunk of each year's check back to Jacobson as it hits the money market account. He's not just a thief at that point, he's running a payment plan. Uncle Jerry has accounts receivable like he is self-employed.
And that is definitely a leap of faith with a lot of bank statements. And of course, what could possibly go wrong building a criminal empire in the back of your butcher?
The butcher gets greedy, as butchers are apt to do. He promises a prize to his sister and then just keeps it, claims it himself. And now one of the winners is living right around the corner from Jacobson.
Way too close. The whole game is geography, and his butcher just drew a straight line back to his front door. So Jacobson realizes Mr. Nice Uncle Jerry has to go. He needs a real facilitator, someone with distance, someone with their own people, and he finds that man in the single most happenstance way available.
Totally. He meets a man at the Atlanta airport.
In this story, everything, including overpriced food, seems to happen in an airport. And that man he meets, his name is Gennaro Colombo, who also went by Jerry.
So now we officially have 2 Jerrys. Thank you for making this story confusing, Jerry's.
And the Gennaro Colombo was connected to the Colombo crime family, as in the New York Mafia. And this is a good one. It's not one of those startup mafiosos.
Yeah, no, they're very well-educated in crime.
Well-established.
Well-established.
They don't just have a Facebook page.
No, they have an Instagram and a TikTok and a rap sheet. All right, well, a man named Colombo from the Colombo crime family recruited to rig a game at a place whose mascot is an aging clown.
The clown meets the mafia. And reportedly, the two of them hit it off right there in the terminal because Colombo was flashing a bag of cash around. He was bragging about his gambling, his family, the whole operation.
And he doesn't recruit a nervous accountant. He recruits the single loudest man in the airport who doesn't seem like he'd be, handy in an interrogation room.
And Colombo becomes muscle and the facilitator. Now Jacobson doesn't have to find every winner himself. Colombo goes out and recruits his own people. He takes a cut, fans the winners outwards.
The franchise model. It's McDonald's all the way. Even a crime is a franchise.
And here is one of my favorite parts of the story, because Gennaro Colombo does not quietly cash his piece. In 1995, this man goes on a nationally televised McDonald's commercial to celebrate, of all things, winning a Dodge Viper.
A car that, newsflash, he did not win.
A stolen prize. Handed to him by Uncle Jerry that he is now publicly accepting on national television on behalf of McDonald's as a real lucky customer.
I mean, it's magnificent. The mob guy filmed the McDonald's commercial. He is on tape in America's living rooms, being the exact lie the entire scheme depends on.
You can watch this footage. Somewhere, there is footage of the Colombo crime family associate grinning next to a sports car, and the stupid part is that it works just fine. Because who on earth suspects the smiling guy in the commercial?
You don't hide the fake winner. You put him on television, and the recruiting tree just grows from there. Colombo even brings his own family in. He and his wife, Robin, claim $1 million piece up in Boston. Then Robin's father wins $1 million. Then her brother-in-law wins $1 million. And they're smart enough to claim them separately. Different parts of the country, so it doesn't look like one family hitting the jackpot on a loop.
And since we're talking about this today, not a great idea in the end, because that is exactly the pattern a computer notices later. You can fool a TV camera. You cannot fool a spreadsheet quietly asking why all the millionaires are related.
Yeah, and the cover stories are actually pretty incredible. There's a recruit named Gloria Brown, a friend of Robin's down in Jacksonville. So to collect, she's told to pose as the roommate of Columbo's cousin and use the cousin's address. They even have her record a fake outgoing message on the cousin's answering machine, just, to keep the illusion airtight. And then when reporters came around, she tells them she found the winning ticket while cleaning out her car.
Which is actually very believable. Found it cleaning out my car next to the errant french fries and the 2 pennies. And if you don't eat your french fries in the car, I'm just saying I don't trust you, by the way.
We order an extra fry, which we call road fries, so we still have home fries. But now, every one of those, I just feel like I have to explain, you have to eat some fries hot. It's a requirement.
Yeah, but you don't want to be sad when you get home.
Thank you.
So you got road fries and you got home fries.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of people out there that understand us. Let us know.
Yeah, road fries are the best fries.
If you don't agree,
guilt-free.
We're going to be beefing, just so you know.
No anxiety. Hot and fresh.
Okay, we'll get back on track this time. Now, every one of these people had to be coached. You don't just hand someone $1 million piece and then wish them well. They needed a story, like where they bought the food, when they peeled it, the whole rehearsed little fairy tale ready for the day McDonald's came calling.
Which is a part that kind of turns us from fraud into theater. Uncle Jerry wasn't just giving out the tickets. He was casting and directing a national campaign of people pretending to just be incredibly lucky. Dozens of tiny little performances, all of them fake, all of them on McDonald's and, well, your dime.
And the cast just keeps getting darker. Another recruiter in the web is a man named Andrew Glom, who had previously been a cocaine smuggler, an ex-trafficker, and then he starts handing winning pieces to his old contacts from that speedy world.
So the talent pool for fake McDonald's winners, it now overlaps with guys who used to move cocaine, but still do cocaine, but who used to too.
Wow.
The diagram of this crime is snortingly unhinged.
And there's a line from Glom that gets at the whole thing. He basically said it wasn't even about the money. It was the power. Being able to look at someone he liked and say, I quote, "Because I like you, I can make you a millionaire."
And that's the real drug. Forget that cocaine. I can change your entire life if I feel like it. That is another high for someone who definitely, maybe, allegedly, like to get high.
And the full cross-section of people these pieces flow through is its own punchline. The reporting describes a network that, altogether, included mobsters, drug traffickers, and I'm not making this stuff up, psychics, and strip club owners.
At some point, it really stops reading like a criminal conspiracy and more like Donnie Brasco. You got the mobster, you got the smuggler, you got the psychic, you even got the butcher, got the cat and the fiddle.
And you think the psychic of all people would have seen the FBI coming?
It's a good mom joke.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Someone needs to be the funny one in this relationship. It's clearly not you. No, it's clearly him. Now, this even reaches back into Jacobson's own family. In 1998, he pulls in his nephew, Mark Schwartz, with the exact same offer he gave the butcher, a $200,000 piece for $45,000 up front.
So at Thanksgiving, between the fights, there's now a going rate to discuss. It's still 45 for the 200, same as last year.
And some of these recruits mortgaged their houses to come up with the cash.
To buy a fake McDonald's prize from a man most of them had never even met.
That's how strong the spell was. To a lot of people down the chain, Uncle Jerry wasn't a person. He was just a rumor, a nickname, a voice on the phone, Charlie's Angels.
I like it. You are the funny one. He's a folk legend inside his own crime. The further you get from him, the more mythological he gets. I know a guy who knows Uncle Jerry. And just so we're clear on the scale here, this is not him skimming the occasional prize off the top.
No, it's the top of the board, over and over. By the time investigators were finished, the picture they painted was pretty simple. For a long stretch of years, basically every major prize, the cars, the big cash, the $1 million grand prizes, went to Jacobson's people. Not most of them, effectively all of them.
So, somewhere out there is a parallel universe of real McDonald's grand prize winners. And they simply never got to exist.
And then, the single strangest piece of the whole thing, because it isn't all mobsters and cocaine guys. In the middle of it, one of those stolen $1 million pieces gets mailed anonymously to St. Jude, the children's hospital. An envelope shows up at St. Jude. $1 million McDonald's piece is inside, and there's no name attached. And as the story goes, a receptionist almost tossed it in the trash before she realized what it was. The person who sent it? Probably Jacobson, Uncle Jerry himself.
So the man at the dead center of a $24 million fraud anonymously says, "Hey, Jude, don't be afraid. Take this $1 million ticket."
Was that hard for you to say without singing?
It was very hard. So it's copyrighted. Someone was trying, it seems, to clear their conscience.
For sure. That's my first thought. But here's what's funny. A piece like that wasn't even supposed to be transferable, obviously. You couldn't just gift it to someone. But once the public knew a children's hospital had it, what the hell was McDonald's going to do?
Nothing.
Correct.
They do absolutely nothing because there is no press release that survives. McDonald's takes back the money from the cancer hospital.
Yeah, no. The cancer hospital of kids. Like, you don't forget to add that in your headline. So they honored it, naturally. And as it's told, they kept paying those installments to St. Jude even later, even after they knew the piece was dirty. And for about 6 years, all of it just works. The winners win, the cameras roll, the mob guy grins next to his Viper, and America keeps buying fries.
Which means the only thing in the entire world that can take this man down.
So back to Agent Doug Matthews and that note. The McDonald's thing is officially worth a look now, and so it lands with a more senior agent, Richard Dent, who then begins to steer the investigation. And one of their first smart moves is that they bring McDonald's itself into the tent.
Because say what you want about McDonald's, the company is the actual victim here. They're the ones getting robbed blind, and they have no idea it's even happening.
So the FBI quietly loops in a McDonald's spokesperson named Amy Murray, and she basically becomes their inside partner, the friendly McDonald's voice who can make official-sounding phone calls without spooking anyone.
So now there's a McDonald's employee on the FBI team, helping the FBI investigate McDonald's own winners. This seems like a very confusing staff meeting.
And the operation gets a pretty fantastic name. Operation Final Answer.
Because of the other game.
Correct.
The phone a friend. Is this your final answer game? McDonald's was also running a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire tie-in at the time. Somewhere there is an agent who was very extremely proud of that name.
Earned. I'm just saying, earned. So step one, it's the boring, beautiful part of the whole thing. They pull the lists of past big winners and start mapping where those people actually live. Not the address on the prize paperwork, where they physically really live.
Because paperwork can say anything. Paperwork is probably 50% forgery on the best of days. Mm-hmm. And the pattern jumps right off the page. Take Buddy Fisher, Columbo's father-in-law, the one who supposedly won $1 million. On paper, he claimed his prize way up in New Hampshire. Is that a New Hampshire accent?
I don't know. We'll let the viewers tell us. But hey, in reality, he's actually living in Jacksonville, Florida.
Different accent there.
For sure.
Different crimes, too.
Creative crimes.
Now, this is not a casual little drive to go collect your prize.
And he's not alone. You've got grand prize winners scattered all over the map on paper. Different states, different cities. But when you check where they actually live, a striking number of them are clustered. Same pockets, and a whole bunch within shouting distance of Lake House.
And this clusterfuck is noticed through a spreadsheet. That was probably Excel. All those random millionaires from all across America turn out to be neighbors. The randomness has zip codes that lead directly to the Uncle Jerry's.
And the numbers are almost cartoonish. There is reporting that some of these supposedly far-flung, out-of-state winners are actually living within about 25 miles of Jacobson.
And you gotta remember, Mobster Jerry seems as loud as a rooster.
A national sweepstakes that, statistically, was being won by one guy's neighbors. The odds on that aren't 1 in a billion. They're somebody is cheating, and that gets them real tools, including a wiretap that they get on Jacobson's phone.
And this becomes a real operation. Agents in multiple states, real surveillance, headphones and white vans and wires, the whole federal apparatus. All of it aimed at a man who sold fry holder stickers.
And the patience is the actual unsung part. They don't kick the door in the second they're suspicious. They sit on it. They build it. They let it grow until they can chop the whole damn tree down at one time.
And the wiretap is the moment the case stops being just a probably. A map says, this is weird. But a man's own voice on the line, arranging the whole thing? Well, that's him.
And what they hear confirms it's not one guy and a butcher. It's a whole sprawling web. Recruiters, winners, family, the entire tree.
Just a guy on the phone arranging which stranger gets to be a millionaire next. No drama.
Like he's scheduling a delivery, because by that point, to him, that's exactly what it is.
So, the FBI came for a sticker scam and found an entire organization, which is a much bigger problem than what they signed up for. Because knowing it on a wiretap and proving it in a courtroom are two very different things.
They need the fake winners to incriminate themselves, cleanly, on the record. And you can't just knock on the door and ask. You spook one of them and then the phones go silent and then everybody lawyers up.
They cook up a harebrained plan that actually works. The FBI decides to pose as a film crew.
A McDonald's film crew to be exact. And the premise they sell these winners is quite irresistible. Congratulations, McDonald's wants to feature you. We're shooting a little promotional spot, so, just tell us your story on camera. How'd you find that winning piece? What was that magical moment like?
And I absolutely love this. You're not even interrogating them. You're doing something people aren't prepared for. You're giving them compliments. You hand a liar a microphone and a film crew and the one thing every fraudster secretly craves, to be celebrated for the lie. And picture it from the agent's side. They are FBI guys who now have to be a film crew. Hold the boom, ask softball questions, nod, keep a straight face while everyone lies like a toddler directly into the lens.
That's wonderful. Now tell us one more time about the exact moment you found it, all while mentally drafting the warrant. And it produces genuinely surreal footage. The best example is Buddy Fisher, our New Hampshire winner who, lives in Florida. They sit him down, lights up, camera rolling, and asks for the story of his big lucky day. And he sweats and he mumbles and he stumbles through a half-rehearsed story while a room full of FBI agents hold the microphone.
This man goes through that story like a cheating spouse. Every every little glance to the side, every detail that doesn't quite line up. And the more elaborate he makes this story, the deeper he buries himself. On tape, in broadcast quality.
And he's not the only one. They run the same play on another winner, a man named Michael Hoover. Same fake crew, same fake commercial, in his own living room, narrating his fake lucky day straight to the federal government.
They are directing their own confessions, and they think this is a real big break, like Dancing with the Stars for you.
Well, I haven't had the big break yet. I would like to have it.
Dancing with the Stars is going to incriminate you.
It's going to break my back.
I'm going to be in a McDonald's commercial, they think. Buddy, you're going to be in something.
And then they get the piece that really seals it. They zero in on a recruiter named Dwight Baker, and they catch a phone call between Baker and Uncle Jerry himself, capturing an actual game piece handoff being arranged.
So now it's not just nervous winners on tape. It's the man at the very top, on the wire, doing the actual deal.
They have the map, the wire, the recorded statements, Uncle Jerry's own voice. They have a case. Not against one man, but against the whole network.
So they do the thing that Excel spreadsheet was always building towards. They stop watching.
And they move. August 2001, the FBI brings the hammer down, coordinated across multiple states at once. Because with a network this size, you can't arrest people one at a time. Because then the first call warns everybody else.
It's the only way to do it. You gotta go for the checkmate in like 3 moves. Nobody gets a turn to flip the table like this is a Thanksgiving game of Monopoly. And the first sweep gets 8 people, spread across the country. The Carolinas, Florida, Georgia, Texas. Names like Dwight Baker and his wife Linda. Andrew Glom, the ex-cocaine guy. Michael Hoover from the fake commercial.
I'm over here chuckling at Linda because I'm just like, Linda Honey. Was that the Linda in that story? Because Linda Honey, he's in trouble. But at the dead center of all of it, Jerome Jackson, Uncle Jerry himself, Finally, a face on the legend.
And for everyone downstream, all those people who only ever knew a nickname, that's the surreal part. The myth has a mugshot now. He's no longer a mugshot mystery. Uncle Jerry is just a guy, a balding former cop in handcuffs in Georgia. Amazingly ordinary looking.
And the announcement comes from the very top. The U.S. Attorney General himself, John Ashcroft, wants attention, so he stands up and announces it. The scheme denied McDonald's customers a fair and equal chance of winning, he shouts. The American people have suffered. The fries were all a lie.
So you strip away the mobster, the viper, the sweating guy in camera, and the real victim is everybody. Every single kid who ever peeled a piece of a cup believing they had a real shot. Every single mom, every older person getting by on Social Security. They had hoped, but it was all a fugazi.
And the charge tying this whole sprawling thing together is conspiracy to commit mail fraud.
And mail fraud sounds like he stole a magazine subscription.
But it's the perfect fit because the whole operation moved through the system. The pieces, the claims, the prize process. All of it is crossing state lines through the mail and the wires. And that's the federal hook. That's how a hamburger sweepstakes becomes a federal case.
The law that gets him is mundane. This is in the vein of Al Capone getting arrested for tax evasion. They never get the interesting guys for the interesting things. They get them from paperwork.
And it didn't stop at 8. As they kept pulling away at the threads, the number just climbed and climbed. And by the end, more than 50 people were charged in connection with this thing. And the vast majority of them pleaded guilty. When the FBI has you on broadcast quality video cheerfully narrating your fake lucky day, your options get pretty thin. But now here's where people expect a much bigger ending than they get. For the mastermind, the man who, ran this for years, the sentence is modest. Jacobson got 37 months.
Months.
A little over 3 years. Plus, in order to pay back, well over $12 million in restitution, but the prison time itself, about 3 years.
3 years for more than a decade of running the whole thing. Now, if you're at home, you have to think to yourself, we're not talking life in prison here. Maybe you get yourself out there next time a scandal comes your way. I'm just kidding. Don't do it.
Yeah, he didn't mean it. Cut that. And he was the one who got hit the hardest. Or, right around a year, even for some of the most active recruiters, his own nephew included. And on appeal, some of the central players' sentences got knocked down even further.
The value here lands somewhere around a parking ticket. I'm kind of endorsing it here. The universe did not exactly rain fire down upon them, is what I'm saying. What's a little restitution if you get a Dodge Viper out of it?
And Jacobson himself, he did his 3 years, owed his restitution, and then he basically vanished. The man who'd been a whispered legend to hundreds of people ended up living quietly out of the spotlight. An ordinary old guy somewhere in Georgia.
The myth doesn't go out in a blaze. The myth just retires. He becomes some guy mowing his lawn who used to personally control the McDonald's Monopoly game. And one major figure slips the ending entirely.
Gennaro Colombo, our second Jerry, the man who filmed the Viper commercial. He was named in the conspiracy, but he died before it all resolved. A car accident. So he was never actually convicted of any of it.
The mob boss, the loudest one of the bunch, he just up and gets disappeared by the universe. We really missed out on some great trial material because Columbo liked many things, but talking was right up there at the top of his list.
And McDonald's, technically the victim, they did the corporate thing. They cut ties with Simon Marketing, the company that had employed Jacobson, and the two of them ended up in a tangle of lawsuits. And for Simon, losing McDonald's was close to a death blow. The account wasn't just a client, it was the lifeblood of the company. It was a hundreds of millions of dollars relationship. Take that away, and there really isn't much company left standing.
Uncle Jerry didn't just rob McDonald's. He reached over on his way out and he quietly blew up his own employer too.
And to try to make it right with the public, McDonald's ran a big instant giveaway. Millions in real cash prizes, essentially an apology to everyone who had spent years peeling stickers off of a game that they could not win.
Which is unfair. They had to pay people, for real, to apologize for the fact that they got robbed. I'll defend McDonald's with all the integrity I might have, Catherine. They kind of got the short end here, and we're not talking about the McRib.
Oh, I know, because McDonald's is like your ex that you still talk about.
All the time.
And by the way, McDonald's is his ex.
I work there.
But we did both just eat it today before recording, so.
Yeah, how do you feel?
Not good.
Salty?
Very. But here's what I actually want to close on, because it answers the question that we opened with. Why does nobody remember this? $24 million, a mobster, a cocaine smuggler, an FBI sting built on fake commercials. This should be like one of the most famous con stories in America. And most people have never heard a word of it.
It's not that the story wasn't big enough. It's the timing.
Because guess what, everybody? The criminal trial opened in Jacksonville on September 10th, 2001.
So the day before.
The day before. And then next morning, the entire country, every newsroom in it, was looking at something else permanently. The McDonald's monopoly trial, the mob, the Viper, Uncle Jerry, all of it simply fell out of the news and never came back until, we got documentaries and podcasts. It didn't get covered up. It just got eclipsed dramatically.
It's not a secret. It's just a story that happened to walk out on a stage at the exact moment the lights went out on everything else. That's why it feels like a thing nobody knows, because really, nobody ever got told at the time.
And it took years, the better part of 2 decades, before the story really resurfaced and people started going, wait, that actually happened?
And that's incredible for something this big. It basically had to be excavated. A whole generation grew up playing the game with no idea the fix was in the entire time.
And so here's where it leaves me. Think about how many people over all those years peeled a piece off the cup and felt that little jolt, that little, maybe this is the one. Maybe my whole life changes today.
And that's what the whole game was actually selling. It was never the fries. It was hope. A $2 hit of what if mixed with a chocolate sundae.
And the quiet, slightly chilling truth is this. For the prize that mattered most, for a good long stretch of that game's life, that little jolt of hope was the only real thing in the entire game. The fries were real, the cup was real, the hope was real, but the prize was already in somebody's vest. The house always wins. They just don't usually name the house Jerry. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Gabriel.
Follow the show and leave us a 5-star rating or a review. It takes 10 seconds, costs nothing, and unlike McDonald's Monopoly Grand Prize, it's actually up for grabs. For more Mugshot Mysteries, find us at Mugshot Mysteries Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. But before we go, as always, what did we learn today, Gabriel?
We have learned that a spicy McChicken is one of life's delights. Now, we didn't really learn that today, but it is. A Coke and some fries as well. We have learned that locks are in place to keep honest men honest. That deep down, people are hopeful. People are trusting. People believe that good things will happen to them. It's a way to get through a hard day or a hard life, and that it doesn't always work out that way. But at the end of the day, there are many worse things in life than being just a bit idealistic.
Sneaky footsteps in the night, clues that vanish out of sight. Grab your hat and magnifying glass. We'll talk this case and have a blast. Mugshot Mysteries, we're on the trail. Twists and turns that never fail. Laughs and chills, it's quite the show. Who did it? Tune in to know. Gem, a secret note, a shady figure in a trench coat. The clock is ticking, the plot gets thick. We'll crack this puzzle quick as a click. Mugshot Mysteries, we're on the trail.